We are taking care of each other. And if you don't go out and vote, you're not being a part of that.
I'm Alan McPheeters with the Voter Interest Project. This year, voters in Island County will elect officials to several county offices, including assessor, auditor, clerk, coroner, prosecutor, sheriff, treasurer, and district court judge. 19 candidates filed to run for these offices, and we've invited each of them to join us for an interview. You can find out more about the candidates and our election coverage at voterinterests.com. And if you'd like future coverage sent straight to you, you can subscribe at voterinterests.com/subscribe. Today I'm talking with Dierdre Butler, a Democrat who's running for clerk. We shared possible questions with her ahead of time. All right. Well, hello. Today is Friday, July the 3rd, 2026, and we're here with Dierdre Butler, who is running for Island County Clerk. Dierdre, welcome to the Voter Interest Project.
Oh, well, thank you so very much. I appreciate the time that you're giving to us.
You bet. Absolutely. Now, we have people come and join these interviews from all kinds of places, indoors, outdoors, home, work. Where are you today?
Right now, I'm actually in uh, a shop, an apartment on our land while we're building our house. So I apologize for the location that I am, but that's where I'm at right now.
No, you're fine. And so, I mean, I don't usually ask, and you don't have to give me a specific location, but you live somewhere in the neighborhood of Coopville, right?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
I actually live right outside of the town off of, most people would know, Welcher Road. We bought some land out there and we are building a home.
Oh, okay. That's fantastic. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start out. We always start out with sort of a little biographical, not quite rapid fire section, just a few questions about who you are and that kind of thing. So let's start with uh, I see the picture of you and your husband behind you, so you are definitely married.
Yes, happily. Yes.
And you have children.
I have a son. He had a son. We blended a family and now I have two men. I need to say men. Now, we raised two great men on this island. Both of them were raised here in Coopville.
Outstanding. Now, were you raised on Whidbey, or did you move here? How'd you get here?
I wish. I was actually raised in Texas,
Oh, okay.
outside of Houston in a small town called Tomball. And when I had my son, my mother had moved up here, and then when I had my son, I decided to bring him here. It was so beautiful when I'd come up to visit, and I just wanted my son to have a better place to grow up
Mhm.
than in a big city. I wanted to have this kind of community that I had out in Tomball, Texas.
Okay, very good. I hear so many people answer that question with, well, we came here and it was so beautiful, we decided to stay here, which I
Yeah.
think is just fantastic. Now, did you serve in the military?
No. I actually spent most of my life in Texas. I did travel around, just got opportunities to go to different places, and then I just followed my mother up here.
Okay, very
I
good.
Most of it was for my son, and then I
Very
fell in love with it more and more, and then I know I'm never going back.
outstanding.
So.
So, what what is your professional background? What kind of work have you done?
I've actually worked in many places. I managed a marina for 10 years. I did live on a sailboat down in Texas for 10 years.
Mm,
So did
neat.
that for a while. Um, I ended up going to college. I took some college courses in Galveston right before I came here. And then when I came here, I worked in the front office at the health department, which is where I met my husband.
Okay.
And that was in 2007. And then 2008 came when
Yeah.
everything, and I had been the most recent hire. So, of course,
Yeah.
which that gave me time to be with my son for a couple of years while he was young. And uh, so I was able to stay home for some of that time. I ended up in 2014 getting hired onto as a deputy clerk in the clerk's office.
Okay.
And then now I am at the Island County Auditor's office.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, so you, it's funny because at least three of the candidates running for clerk have worked either
Mhm.
in the clerk's office or sort of clerk adjacent in juvenile detention, and the fourth is a paralegal who's involved in the legal field, which I guess makes sense. You're all going to be involved in the court. Um,
Yes.
Outside of your work for the county, do you have experience in politics or community groups? Any served on boards or commissions or anything like that?
So politics, no, but community, yes. I mean, I did the Boy Scouts. I was a Cub Master or
Oh,
little Cub Master, and then and then we, both me, my husband, my mother, we're all involved in the Lions Club in Coopville.
oh, okay.
Um, we were heavily involved, and then this past year, since we started building our home, we had to back off a little bit because every spare moment we had, we are doing most as much of the work we can ourselves.
Very good. Ah, my sister built her house. She lives out in Republic in Eastern Washington. That
Yeah.
is a labor of love.
Yes, yes, it is. And I've already told them at the last event they had, we will be back as soon as the house is done.
Very good. How's progress going on the house?
We are actually at the last stages, and but I am very adamant that it has to be completely finished before we moved in, so it's not partially finished and never gets finished for years and years and years. So I'm very
Yes,
adamant every baseboard needs to be in the house before we move in.
very
So
good.
a couple months.
It's funny you say that because the company I work for, we do financial reporting products for very large law firms, and so it's project work. We're going to implement here, 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 and I've been in project work of one kind or another for, gosh, 20, 25 years, and I am a firm believer in binary milestones. They are either done or they're not done. And if you start blurring those lines, it's not good. So I'm totally sympathetic to your adamancy. Um, all right, let's pivot to what you're doing
Okay.
now, which is running for office. So I don't are you out doorbelling yet, or have you had a chance to talk with some voters?
I've talked with some voters. Outdoor, I know we've done some campaigns. I had some issues. I had to go back to Texas for a little bit for a family issue. So that kind of put me on the slow end of, or trying to catch up. Finally
Right.
got my signs, got that taken care of, and got my team together. So right now we're getting out there, getting word of mouth out at this moment, and then we will be going full force probably in the
Very,
next couple of weeks.
very good. So I always think about this as the elevator pitch. I mean, you're never in an elevator, but you're at the door at someone's house and they answer the door. You've got maybe 30 to 60 seconds to get them engaged. So do you have an elevator pitch? Can you give it to us now? What are you saying to
Um,
people?
okay, so I'll just throw out there usually what I will say.
Okay.
So what I'll say is my name is Dierdre. I am running for the Island County Clerk's office. That's in Superior Court. Most people aren't aware of the importance of the Superior Court Clerk's office within our county. It completes it's a very vital function. The court is where you would go to file for any civil cases, any criminal case, or the prosecutor, of course, files for the
Right.
criminal cases. But it also is for probates, family law. There are multiple other types of cases, but family law, civil law, and probates are what most people come to the counters for. And this is where you want to make sure that you're treated kindly, that your documents that you're filling out are put into the system correctly. Um, of course, the clerk's office cannot give legal advice, but when you go there, you want a place to where you're going to be treated kindly with respect. Dignity is one of the key things that I think that if you are in my community, you need to get when you're going to somewhere where you're not in a usually a very good place yourself. I would like to make that place a place that's easy to go to with kindness and respect and make sure because everything is done correctly.
Okay. Very good. That's a good start.
Yes.
Uh, So we're going to talk more about what the clerk's office does, but what made you
Yeah.
decide that you wanted to run for clerk?
I had been in that office, and I can see that there are some things that I would like to change. There are some things that I would like to um, promote there to make the place a better place,
Okay.
a kinder place to go to. Um, it was one that I had planned to do and would like the opportunity to show that I can actually make it there,
Okay.
make it
I know this
make it
is your
better.
your second shot at it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what can you give us an example of something that you think needs to be improved over at the clerk's office?
Um, a lot of it probably has to do with the treatment people come to the counter, the time that is spent um, with making people feel safe and um, being treated with respect. Um, but there's other things. I mean, I'd like to get more training for. I'd like to work with other clerks' offices and see what they use in their offices to make it easier for the public. You know, is there an easier way for us to do this? Um, is there a better way that they do it at their county that we could use in ours and be open for that? Also, you've got people that come into the clerk's office that they say, "Hey, why can't we do this?" Well, statutorily, there's some things we can't do,
Right.
but closing off that this is the way we do it because it's always been done this way. That is one of the phrases I do not like. Just because something is done a certain way doesn't mean, or it's been that way, it's been done that way because it's always been done that way. You take away an opportunity to make something that might be easier.
Right.
Is there a better e-filing system that we can use? Is there other types of training? Um, these are all things that I think that can be addressed and looked into, and I think that I can provide that.
Okay. Very good. So now I think I remember you said you've been the chief deputy clerk in the
I
office.
was the chief deputy clerk.
Okay, so
Yes,
that's the number two person on the
correct.
total. So
Yes,
your experience meshes really well with actually doing the job then.
yes. I've already been that in that office before, so I had an opportunity to work with prosecutors, attorneys, the public, of course,
Right.
and so I am familiar with how things are there going there. But I have been over at the auditors for no, almost 5 years. Five
Mhm.
years. So it has been a little bit of time since I've been there. But on the basic understanding of how the office runs, and I have been to clerks conferences, several of them with the prior clerk and some by myself.
Okay, very good. So what do you think is the biggest challenge that the clerk's office faces over the next 4 years or so?
Over the next 4 years, um, it's the what they actually have to work with on a daily basis. The quantity of work that comes through that office is huge, and what the deputy clerks have to go through on a daily basis, it's hard, and it's hard for them. Um, you have a turnover that has to be done within a certain time. Documents have to be inputted correctly. Um, it is a continual strain. Also, I know right now with budget cuts that are going on in different places. I know that that's going to be an issue coming up in the next 4 years, and
Yeah,
it's something that needs to be worked with, but it needs to be done handled in a way that's one to take care of the deputy clerks that are in there now, and also the people that come to our counter.
sure. Yeah, mention that, I know I've been doing a little research for these interviews. I saw that there's a story out of Thurston County down in Olympia where they're considering reducing staff or even going to online filing only. And I gather that you don't think that would be a very good idea.
Um, on online only, I don't think it would be a great idea. I mean, you got to also remember during COVID, there was a practice of having to do that because,
Right? People couldn't
everybody
come in.
went through that. So you still have, that already kind of set up that it can be done that way. But when you take away somebody coming in, um, that needs to file for divorce or that needs to get a domestic violence case, or, you know, to have them come in, and ask, I need documents. Again, we can't give legal advice, but we can say, to look them into the face and look them in the face and say, you need to do these and you need to turn them in at this time so that we can do our part, which is, making sure you're on the court docket, making sure that the documents are in the system. I think taking that away from our, it's going to be really hard. And it just takes that part of the community taking care of them away.
Yeah, when I was reading about that struggle, and it's always budgets. And, I don't know, this doesn't really touch on what you're looking at, but there's been this big argument going on. There are some people, I think primarily on Camino, who want to have the county hire a second animal control officer who'd be based over there. And the commissioners are just saying there is no budget for that. There just isn't.
Yeah,
So budgets are always going to be a problem.
they
Um,
are. They are. But there are, I think that just thinking that, okay, the budget is this way. You know what? Open your mind and think of, are there any other solutions that we can work with within our budget to still do the things that we can do to make it better. And they're right, over in Camino, they're usually always left out. People, that is one thing I would like to look into. I don't have all the answers.
yeah,
I will never say I have all the answers to all the problems in this office. What I do have, what I do have is the willingness to go out and research, take suggestions, listen to people, see what options are out there, and see if that we can do it better. Because Camino usually does they have to drive all the way over to Whitby.
right.
It's not a fun drive.
Yeah. Is it never occurred to me to ask this before, and you probably are the one person who would know. Are there any deputy clerks stationed at the Camino Administration Center?
No,
It's
no.
all in Coopville.
Yeah. Documents I know can be taken over there and then emailed and sent over. It was, you could do it when I was there. And I'm sure it still can be done now
Yeah,
because, um, but for most people to get them, it's a long trek.
yeah.
And
That's the whole Camino situation. I mean, I like Camino. I drive over there. I live in Oak Harbor, and I drive over there, I don't know, maybe a couple times a year. And it's a great place, but I used to be the Island County or the county chair for the Island County Republican Party. And I always had a sense that the Camino people just felt neglected by
yes,
being over there.
yes.
And historically,
When I worked in the health department, when I did work in the health department, in the front office, I went over there every Thursday. I would drive over there and I would man the health department counter. Um, and so, you know,
yeah,
I know what that's like having to make that drive.
it's a long way to go.
Yes.
Um, I want to pivot a little bit because this is something very interesting to me this year. So, like I said, I've been involved in politics on the Republican side for, well, not anymore, but I started in about 2014. And I feel like a lot of people have a pretty good idea. What does it mean to be a Democrat at the federal level? Pretty easy.
Hmm.
We usually know at the state level. At the county level, I don't really understand the where where the differences between the party really are. And so this year, we've had a number of people who have run under one party or the other, Tony
Mhm.
Lamb, as the treasurer, was a Democrat. Now he's an independent. Sheila Kreider was a Republican. Now she's an independent. Rick Felici has made the same
Mhm.
change. Greg Banks in his last election. So, what impact do you think or affiliation has on elected officials? And if I remember right, you ran with no party preference 4 years ago, and this year you're running
Yes.
as a Democrat. So, can you talk about that?
Yeah, actually, I can, and I can admit um, little to no, as I was saying earlier, I was never into politics. And when I ran the first time, I knew that the clerk at the time was going to be running as a Democrat.
Hmm.
Um, and me not having the knowledge and just doing it by myself and just, I did not realize that two Democrats could be on the same.
Ah,
So it was okay. She's going to run a Democrat. I'll run it as an independent. But within the county offices, most of the county offices, like the Superior Court clerk, when you're in that office as a Democrat, my party should not matter. And it matters to me. I
right,
am a Democrat. I've been a Democrat for years. I vote Democrat. I align with their views, period.
right.
But in that office, you're in a courthouse that has statutes. Your party does not come into it. And I have to follow what the court states that we have to follow. And it should be completely unbiased, what my opinion is, especially with somebody coming up to that counter. I don't care if that person is a Republican, Democrat, nothing. I mean,
Right.
atheist, Christian. When somebody comes out to that counter, we should be taking them right at their face and treating them just like any other person.
That makes sense, and that's the consensus I get, not
Yes.
just for the clerk's office, but for most of these other offices too.
Mhm.
And the first time I was asking this question, I was talking to candidates for sheriff in Snohomish County, and they're enforcing the law. The law is not a Republican law or a Democrat law.
Correct.
Um,
It is. So I was going to say, yeah, you're right because in the auditor's office, it's the same. It's We do not decide laws. We do not legislate laws in these positions.
mhm.
And so what we believe is needs to stay behind, and we need to take care of our people, all of them.
Do you think it'd make more sense that the clerk would be elected on a nonpartisan basis?
I think it should be, but I still think that people should be allowed to have their beliefs. I mean, I will follow what my party stands for
Mhm.
me, and what I vote for, what I personally vote for outside of that office, I will be voting
Oh,
for
sure.
my party.
Yeah, no, it's just a matter of whether candidates would have to declare a party affiliation. There's a fair amount of research that indicates that turnout in nonpartisan elections is lower than it is in partisan elections because
Yeah,
the partisan elections give you another data point to consider. And one of the reasons we do these interviews is because, especially in offices like the clerk, well, I don't know what it does. I don't know how to judge whether this is the right person or not.
yeah,
Uh, so having those markers is useful, but I can see where nonpartisan might make more sense for these offices. So
yeah.
anyway, we're actually going. I mean, we're a little short from my target time, but we're longer than the other interviews have gone, so that's good. Because one of the things we've been talking about in all these interviews is I don't really know how to get it into what the clerk's office does, and I think you've done a good job of explaining what the major concerns are. So I appreciate that. Let's wrap this up with what's the best way for people to find out more about you? If they're curious of working on their ballot, should they go to your Facebook page or a website, or do you want people to give you a call, send you email? How should people reach out to you?
Actually, the best way to reach me is my website, which is
Okay.
votedeirdre.com.
Okay.
Um, Let me spell that. It's
That's probably a good
vote
idea.
Dierdre. But it doesn't matter because, in all honesty, because of how my name is, we got the domains from all the names and linked them together, all the ways you could
That's
spell it. So
that's such a
even
smart idea. And it doesn't
um,
cost that much either. I
no,
like that a
no,
lot.
and my sister who helped me set it up spelled my name wrong originally. It's like no,
Oh
yeah. So
no. Oh, well,
it's like, okay, let's get all of the spellings. But yeah, that is the best way to reach me because it actually and I think the link for contacting me, and I watch that every day. And if you have questions, please contact me. I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has.
okay, great. So we'll put that in the description of this video on YouTube, and then again when we put it on the website, uh,
Okay.
and we'll make sure that people know how to find you. So this has been a great conversation. I really appreciate your taking the time. Thanks so
Oh, well,
much.
thank you. I would like to say one more thing. No matter what,
Absolutely.
if anybody that goes out there, just vote. I don't care if it's me or anybody else, but people need to get involved in our community because that's what matters. We are taking care of each other. And if you don't go out and vote, you're not being a part of that. And that's what I ask, no matter what party.
Outstanding. Good, good. I I have to say I think that's the first time I've had a candidate say that, at least this season. So I'm glad you brought that forward because it is important to vote. Be
It is important
informed
to vote.
and cast your vote. Great. All right. Thank you so much. We'll talk again soon.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Alan. I appreciate it.
You bet. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching our interview with Dierdre Butler. If you found this helpful, you can learn more about the candidates and our election coverage at voterinterests.com. You can support our work at voterinterests.com/donate and help us keep producing resources like this for voters in Island County. You can also stay up to date on future interviews and election coverage by subscribing at voterinterests.com/subscribe.